Ever found yourself scrolling through Pinterest and it feels like it's, I don't know, reading your mind? Showing you exactly what you were looking for, maybe even before you knew you were looking for it? Well, today we're going to pull back the curtain on the incredible technology that makes all of that happen. So let's dive in.
First, you gotta understand the scale of the challenge here. It is absolutely huge. Pinterest has to make sense of over 200 billion pins. That's a number so big, it's kind of hard to even wrap your head around it. So that's the big question, right? With all that content, how can a computer system possibly understand what's actually in every single one of those images, descriptions, and links? Well, the answer starts right here, with a pin like this one about a sloth sanctuary. Now, you and I, we see a super cute animal, a cool travel idea. But to Pinterest's engine, it sees something totally different. The real secret is hidden in just a few powerful words. So let's start by digging into the sheer scale of what we're calling Pinterest's billion pin problem. Here's the thing that's so interesting. We all think of Pinterest as a visual platform, right? It's all about the images. But a massive part of its brain, its intelligence, actually comes from understanding text. You know, the descriptions, the titles, the text on the websites that pins link out to. And getting that text part right, well, that's pretty much the whole ballgame. Okay, so how on earth did they solve this? That brings us to part 2, the solution. And it's something called smart tags, or if you want to get technical, annotations.
So what is an annotation? Think of it like a super precise, structured piece of information. It's a short keyword or phrase, we're talking just 1 to 6 words long, that describes what a pin is all about. And here's the really important part. It comes with a language tag and a confidence score, which tells the system how sure it is about that tag.
So let's go back to our sloth pin. For this pin, the system doesn't just see a messy block of text. Nope, it boils it all down into these clean, simple annotations, each with its own confidence score. So for example, it's 99% sure this pin is about a sloth sanctuary. And just like that, messy, unstructured text becomes structured, useful data.
Okay, so Pinterest has these super smart tags. So what? What do they actually do with them? That brings us to our third section, seeing these annotations in action.
Well, the short answer is they use them for pretty much everything. These annotations are the foundational building blocks that power search results, your home feed, which ads you see, keeping the platform safe, and that feature we all use constantly, related pins.
Let's zoom in on that more like this feature, because it's something we've all used, right? When you tap on a pin you like and you scroll down, those annotations are the magic behind the scenes, finding all those other pins you might be interested in. It's one of the clearest ways to see this system at work.
And this picture is a brilliant way to understand how it works. The system figures out how related two pins are by basically comparing their shopping lists of annotations. There's a fancy math technique called cosine similarity, but all you need to know is that it helps the system figure out that the two Maseratis share way more important tags, and so they're much more similar to each other than either one is to the Honda.
So how does the machine actually create these tags in the first place? All right, it's time to pop the hood and take a look inside the annotation engine.
Now, this diagram shows you the whole flow. You've got text from pins and websites going in one side, and these clean, scored annotations coming out the other. It might look a little complicated, but don't worry, we can break it down into a few key steps.
It all kind of boils down to 3 main steps. First, the system scans all the text and finds every possible keyword it can from a giant dictionary. Second, it gathers a bunch of extra data, or features, about each of those keywords. And finally, an AI model looks at everything and gives each keyword a relevance score.
But you know there's a problem. That first step, finding all the candidates, it's going to find a lot of junk. Just because a word happens to be in the description, that doesn't mean it's a good tag for what the pin is about. So how does the system know which ones to keep and which ones to throw out?
The engineers who built this system put it perfectly. They pointed out that for a pin like our sloth one, the text might mention words like world, journey, or read. Now these are real words, of course, but they're not useful keywords for describing the pin. They're just noise.
And this is where the AI really shines. They use a specific type of machine learning model called XGBoost. It looks at all the data for every potential tag and then predicts how relevant it actually is. Think of it like a super smart filter that separates the good stuff, the signal, like sloth sanctuary, from all that noise.
Okay, for our last section, let's zoom out and look at the big picture. Why is this whole approach so effective? Well, it all comes down to why smart data wins.
And that's the real magic here. The system takes all this messy, chaotic human language from billions of pins and transforms it into clean, organized, high-quality data. And this smart data becomes the fuel for the entire recommendation engine.
And believe me, this isn't some small side feature. According to Pinterest's own engineers, this annotation system is one of the single most important things driving relevance across the entire platform. It affects nearly every single thing you do and see on Pinterest.
It kind of makes you think, doesn't it? As you scroll through your feeds or search for stuff online, what other powerful, invisible systems just like this one are working behind the scenes, shaping what you see and what you discover next?